Today on TFL, you join me in Idaho. We've just come off of a trail in Oregon where we were testing out some brand new Firestone tires coming out with the crew at Firestone, and this is one of the coolest, if not the coolest vehicle that was on the trail with us. So let's take a look at this insane Tacoma build. So this Tacoma belongs to my buddy Micah right here, and this is just a ridiculously cool setup, mostly because of what's on the back of it, and we'll dig into that in just a moment. But Micah, this is your Tacoma, and you've actually got a YouTube channel of your own.
Yep.
Where you've shown everything that you've done with this, right?
Yeah, for the most part. People keep asking me for more. It's been hard to put everything out there, but yeah, there's a YouTube channel and Instagram, been documenting kind of the build up. It's Overland under budget. Google that and it'll come up with my website, the YouTube and Instagram. So
And
if there's anything we miss, it'll be on there.
I mean, the star of all of that content is this truck. So starting off at the front, we've got a steel bumper here. Where is this from?
Yeah, so this is the one piece of metalwork that I didn't do on the truck. This is a coastal off-road closed top winch bumper. And yeah, you can get it as a self-weld kit. And I actually got this right before I got my welder, like weeks before. So it's the one metal thing on here that's not done by me.
And then I see you've got some amber off-road lights, and then what's the rating on your winch?
It's a 10,000 pound. It's the Warn Evo VR 10S. And then Factor 55 recovery closed link system, which is awesome.
And then coming around the side, we have one of the tires that we've been testing out here on the trail.
Yep.
This is the Firestone Destination MT2, so it's their more aggressive off-road tire. And where are these wheels from?
These are Nomad wheels, and that's a brand new wheel company that just came out a couple months ago. And yeah, they've been awesome. I've really liked these wheels. I waited forever. I've only ever run one other wheel, which was the Toyota Steely, and I love that kind of understated utilitarian look of the Steelies. And this is exactly what I was looking for, and it's 24 pounds versus 28 pounds for the Steely.
Nice. So it's not an insanely...
It's not insanely heavy, and it's, I was running a spacer before on those, so it was 32 pounds for the wheel setup and spacer versus 24. These are 16 by 8, -10. So.
And then coming along the side, so you were mentioning the metalwork that you've done on this. Is this one of your pieces?
Yeah, that's the very first welding project I've ever done, so don't show the welds on the bottom. They're pretty bad, but they haven't fallen off. So yeah, first thing, like I think a week later, these were on the truck after I got my welder. Simple, I think it's 2x4 1/8 inch steel, and yeah, they're frame welded on, so they've been awesome.
I mean, it looks substantial. Have you taken a lot of impacts into these?
Nothing too bad, but definitely some, and just like scrubbing off on the bottom. I use them, honestly, I wanted a step because I have kids too, and I wanted to be able to get in and out of the truck and grab them easy and let them climb in, so that's why they're flat. And yeah, they've been working. They haven't fallen off. I kind of thought
a little bit of dual purpose too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's super nice to just be able to stand up on these guys and get a good purchase on them, and yeah.
So, okay, we've covered kind of what's going on with most of the front end of this truck. Yeah. I'm rushing along that because we have to talk about this camper. So this looks like an insanely expensive kind of thing that somebody would buy from an Australian company and have it imported into the States. But this is not that at all. You built this entire camper on the back, right? Yeah, so everything on the back is homegrown, garage built, and it's actually two pieces. So it's a flatbed, and then it's a removable camper. So yeah, the whole system is home built. Well, I love that when the camper comes off, your bed has sides here that flip down too, which is what these brackets are for. And it looks super, super cool with the sides that flip up.
Thank you.
And then on the outside of it, you also have these drawers that slide out with some cases.
Yeah. If I can pop this out. This comes out like this. And then it's got some just classic gear in there.
Yeah, you got some of your tools.
Yeah,
and
just
some
like
gear.
basic road tools and repair stuff and stuff you might want to easy access.
And then I noticed too, you've got some lights here. So do you ever swing these out to try and get light pointing in some different directions?
It's just to have light around the base of the camper when you're camping, just have something. And it's honestly like, I had these lying around. I was like, I should throw one on and see, it's not really, it was more of an afterthought the way that one's placed.
Right.
But the idea is, you're camping. It's nice not to have lights from above in your eyes. It's nice to just have the ground illuminated. And that's why I just attached it to this, because I thought it'd be nice if it came out and get a wider spread.
Yeah, and then you've got a plate along the bottom of it, so if you get any impact, it shouldn't be too big of an issue. Yeah, and it just helps visually show, the shape of the rear of the truck. And impact-wise, this is up pretty darn high, so I haven't been able to hit it yet, because I think you'll actually hit the rear bumper first. But, right.
Yeah.
And then we have to open up the side of the camper and show what's going on in here. So this is what's really impressive, is that, I mean, you built this from home, which doesn't seem like that would be an easy thing to do. And I mean, what is your background with metal fabrication?
I don't have any background in metal fabrication. Actually, the rock sliders were the very first metal thing that I did. I've done, I made like a coffee table, a bed frame, a kitchen table, like out of wood and stuff. And I've always been like a tinkery kind of working on stuff kind of guy.
Right.
And then I tell this to everybody, I've played a lot of Legos. I still build Legos. And I think that's really, you're just changing the medium that you're using. If you're someone who likes to build stuff, it doesn't matter if it's wood or metal or anything else. It's the same thing. You're just learning a new skill and new material.
So going from Legos to coffee tables to an insanely cool camper. And then,
One step at a time.
This already is a good amount of space here in the back, because, I mean, a factory Tacoma bed is pretty narrow. Yep. This is obviously a good bit wider than the original bed would be.
Yeah.
And then this is a full-on crew cab, so your original bed was a short bed, right?
Yeah, so the original bed on these ends like right here, right about here. It's 5.3 inches, I think. This is the only bed they made in the double cabs for the first generation.
Right.
So it's over a foot longer and it's over a foot wider.
So already you've got a solid amount of space in here, but this top also hinges forward and pops up, right?
Yeah, this drops forward. I'll close this and open it up. Got my bike stuff with me because we're going on a trip later. So I go on that side. If I have the bike on, this rear slide has to come out. And it's pretty sticky from all the dust we were just on. Yeah,
we've been getting these trucks really dirty out on the trail.
It comes out a little bit. I don't think it's ever been that sticky before. Everything's like a work in progress. So like nothing is final. Nothing is like the best iteration. It's just kind of like learning as I go. The slides.
Well, your standard is very high.
Well, you want to make it as best you can. So that's both the challenge and the fun.
Look at how much space you have in here now.
Yeah, I think it's just over 7 feet. 7'7". You can stand up and raise your hand all the way.
Really?
For me, yeah. I'm 5'10".
Not that you would necessarily need to, because obviously there's not like a kitchen kind of thing in here, but it's just nice to have. If you can have the space, you might as well. And so here's what it looks like popped up.
And for me, because I have 3 kids, I wanted to keep it completely about sleeping, because it's such a micro truck anyways. I knew I wasn't going to be able to create like an RV, with a bathroom or a sink or all that kind of stuff. This is solely about being able to camp last minute, any destination, any weather, all that kind of stuff, and know that I was going to be comfortable, the kids would be comfortable. So this is a little bit bigger than a queen size bed down here. And then there's a platform up here, slides out all the way up here, and it's about 7 feet in length, and the kids can sleep up top.
So you can have 2 levels of sleeping platform.
Yeah, so it's almost like you have a wedge camper, like a standard wedge camper up top, and you got the whole bottom down here. And the only way I was able to do that is by putting all that storage underneath. So.
That is so cool.
Thanks, man.
And I like that you've got some shelves up top here. Oh,
backlit.
And some lights in it?
Yep. And we got a fan that is really effective, can draw air in, draw air out. Makes a huge difference. Got to have ventilation and stuff. So.
And then we saw it kind of briefly, but around here on the back. Yeah. So you said you built this recently. This is your mountain bike rack.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like an afterthought, or not necessarily an afterthought, but just something I recently got another mountain bike finally after like a long time, and I was like, I have to be able to bring my mountain bike with me, either when I'm got it on, I'm just riding locally, or I'm on trips and stuff. You don't want to have to put the bike, well, it fits inside, you don't want to put it in your bedding.
You don't want to,
yeah, especially if it's dirty.
Yeah. This is partly dirty because it's obviously been on the back of the truck as we've been off-roading, but this is not much dirtier than it would get riding it on any standard trail, so it's not something you want to throw on top of your bed.
No, and I don't know if it's going to slide out very well because it was so dusty, but see if we can get it all the way out. There's also 4 gallons of gas right back there, and then I keep the kitchen set up right here, which is like just a classic Coleman stove and pots and pans, and then on this side I have a floor jack with a plate on it and like spare parts, and I'm supposed to have a CV in there, but I don't have a spare CV with me, but all that kind of stuff lives in there, so. And
then do you usually cook on this surface, or will you set up a
I used to cook
table?
up right here, like with everything, but recently I just been pulling the stove out and putting it on top of that one, because I'm underneath the door right there. It's like a natural awning, little cover.
Right.
But yeah, you could cook on. That's kind of that's the nice thing about having all these pop out, because this one pops out on the other side as well, is just flat surface when you're camping is so nice. So like stove goes here, prep plates over there, or like, I use this truck all the time just locally around my house. It's my second car. It's our daily driver when I drive it, and like we'll go to the beach and get tacos to go or something. Everybody's standing around the car like eating like a little table and stuff. So.
And is there anything on this that you feel like you're missing? Because you have some shade from this, but anything like
like other things I want to finish doing.
Yeah, is there more that you want to add?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of my obsession / like love, and I'm always looking at things I want to change.
Can always do more.
yeah. So there is something I haven't finished, which is I have some Ketter rail up here. I need to get a piece that's long enough to go the entire length of the camper. But that's just going to be a really simple awning for when we set up for, overnight and for a while. You'll just be able to slide in a tarp and then run traditional poles off.
Right.
Which is kind of funny because I think my most popular YouTube video in the beginning was 270 awning that I made. And this is kind of the antithesis of it, but it's just so much less weight and simple. So, and you kind of get an instant awning with this. So.
Yeah. And then, for the most part, the rest of the truck, so actually one thing I did want to ask about is obviously this has added weight to the back of the truck. So what have you done for suspension?
Yeah, so the leaf pack is a stock Toyota leaf pack. And then I Craigslisted another stock Toyota leaf pack that was a takeoff.
Really?
I just cut that up, opened up the old leaf pack, combined it, so it has I want to say it's 7 instead of 4 leaves in it. And then I'm also running the Firestone Ride Right airbags.
Nice.
And I can show you on this side the controls for them. So on this side you get the fill for either one.
Yeah.
This is like an isolator switch, so when it's closed like this, each airbag can be filled individually, and they don't pass air back and forth. So I kind of use that as a sway bar. There's no sway bar up front. There's no normally sway bar in the rear. So with the added weight and height, it's really nice to be able to just kind of increase the pressure in those, and it really reduces body roll. And then if I'm off-road, I need a little more articulation. I can turn it like this, it ties them together. One builds pressure, one gets expanded, back and forth. And then I also have just a dump valve in the back that I can fully open, so when I take this off, because jacks go right in here, bolts come out, and you just drive out under. It's way lighter, and you don't need airbags at all. So turn that off, and as the suspension's working, the air is coming straight out. It's not building. So.
Man, all of this is just such an unbelievably clean install. Yeah, everything under here.
This is one more thing right here that is one of my personal favorites. This is the for the spare tire. So same size as a lug nut. You can take the wheel off, you can lower the spare tire, you just put a wrench on here and drop the rear tire.
Oh, nice. Yeah, again, I mean, a really clean install. This is not the kind of thing that you would look at and think, oh, somebody with no prior fabrication experience built this at home. I mean, this looks like it was built by a big company that charged a lot of money for it.
I appreciate it. I think I see only like the blemishes and all the little things, like I said, it's like a working model, so a lot of it is done to good enough to get it to work and figure out how I'm going to change it later. I didn't want to spend too much time trying to perfect it, because I knew you can only do that so much before you actually use it.
Yeah.
I think there's Mercedes seats up front.
Mercedes seats?
Yeah, these are from an ML 350 and just retrofitted in here. And then this dash was also a project of mine, coming apart from the constant vibration, but 10-inch touchscreen. It's got forward and rear cameras, and then all my controls and stuff like that.
Nice. And then for this whole rig done up the way that it is, do you know how much it weighs?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question because I haven't weighed it. Like, I want to weigh it on this trip to see exactly how much it weighs with everything I have in it. I've weighed it on other trips, and I was at 5180 with me inside, so 5,500.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, no, it's not huge, but again, these trucks are light from the factory, so it's over the GRVW. I want to say it's like is 5100.
Okay.
So it's above that, but not, in this space and the overlanding builds and stuff, it's a lighter truck than you would think.
Yeah, plus you've done a lot of work to the suspension, so it's
not
like...
the frame is plated inside and out in the back.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, I had a 3/16 plate on the back, and then also boxed it, and and then heavier suspension and new ball joints and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so
and also re-geared, which makes a huge difference for the extra weight, just with driveline components not having as much stress on them. 488 gears, E-locker in the back and air locker in the front.
So nothing has been passed over. There's nothing in here that's been
half
done. I think you're too hard on your build, man, because this is, everything I'm looking at, and I see a lot of modified, built-out trucks, especially Tacomas, but this is about as dialed as they get, especially for a rig that somebody did themselves and that somebody actually uses.
Yeah, I use it all the time. I think that's one of the best, one of the most satisfying parts for me, and one of the keys to the whole thing is that I really try to stick to the ethos of building it for my use. I think some people do DIY just because they like DIY. Some are trying to save money. For me, it's the ability to basically tailor whatever it is to exactly how you want to fit your needs, so you're not building something with design features that you don't personally use. It's just tailored to how you use it. So,
and then under the hood, I see that you've got a snorkel, but is everything else factory?
Yep, everything's factory. Just like basic auxiliary electrical, and I have a air compressor hard mounted in there, but no supercharger, just new, fresh components like water pump, radiator, cooling, all that kind of stuff, trans cooler. Yeah.
So how is it going down the highway? Do you notice it being much slower, much harder to drive in general?
Like I said, I take on and off the camper all the time, so I kind of have like a good I feel like a good feel for what it's like with the extra weight. And surprisingly, I think these trucks are just pretty slow from the factory because it's not fast with the camper on, and it's definitely not fast with the camper off. With the camper on, if you're doing grades, obviously it's pulling more weight, so it takes more power, and it just doesn't have it, so it's not quite as good. But I think one of the biggest things for these trucks is the bigger rolling resistance with the tires. And once you get it lifted up, it's just like, because the weight doesn't really change much, It'll cruise at 80 miles an hour as long as it's flat and there's no wind. You get wind, like a heavy headwind, and you start struggling.
Nice. So, that's not that bad. And then I see also up top, you've got a pretty serious light bar.
Yeah. You know what? That's one of the very first things that I built, like when I got the truck. These are Yakima Q towers from Craigslist, a Yakima crossbar, and then these are just like Amazon lights, but I've had them for 2.5 years, and it's a great spot for a shovel mount too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps it out of the way, and a little mini shovel, you gotta have a shovel, so.
A super efficient use of space. You've really taken advantage of every bit of, Tacomas are
There's
small
not
trucks.
a lot of space, yeah, so that's been one of the things for sure, is like, how can I maximize the space without taking away the fact that Tacomas are great off-road because they are small? So it was like, if I put make an RV, then you've got a small RV on a tiny truck. It can't handle it.
Not a good combo.
Yeah, so I was trying to make it as big as possible without like ruining the good parts of it. So.
Well, a huge thanks to Micah for showing us around his truck, because this is just
absolutely.
A really
Thanks for
cool
checking
build.
it out.
And I hope it inspires some people that are watching this. I don't know if I'm ever going to have the talent to put together something like this, but we can all hope.
You can do it. One step at a time.
Absolutely. So let us know what you think in the comments below, and we'll catch you all in the next video.